driving back to Virginia.
Okay.
All right, we live right now. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing, and I'm back with the gang, Ego's Army. This is La Familia, back with some more heat. We're going to go from the top. Tell them what's your name and where you coming from. New meaning.
Hey, what's going on? Oh, yeah, Lawrence, state of Washington, you know, big boxing fan. Eagles always spitting facts. That's why I'm here.
Facts. What got you into boxing?
Well, when I was younger, you know, my dad used to record the Mike Tyson fights on video cassette.
Oh.
And we'd go back and, rewatch those joints. And I just remember Mike knocking cats out.
Yeah, Mike's that one.
Yeah. So,
hey, what do you think of Jamie Foxx playing Mike Tyson in the movie?
Man, that's going to be awesome. I listened to the little like little skit he was doing on the radio.
Yeah, I seen it.
He got the, your son told me, yo, it's gonna be dope. He's putting on that weight too, man. You know?
Yeah, he got a whole game plan.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Good to have you. Yo, I want to ask y'all, since we all family, Mike Tyson, what's y'all thoughts on the Mike Tyson movie, Jamie Foxx? Could he kill it? Could he do another Ray type of movie? What's your thoughts?
I think, Jamie Foxx is definitely talented enough to pull it off. The way he pulled off that Django character was amazing. And he killed it on Ray. Yeah, I think he's a good person. I think they chose the right person to play that role. And from the stuff that leaked from that picture, he looks swollen.
Yeah,
he looks serious.
I think Jamie Foxx is going to do a phenomenal job with this one because if anybody knows, he's a true thespian when it comes to his acting skills.
Yeah.
He's probably put himself in the gym. He's looked like he put on 25 pounds. He got the voice down right. Mike gave him the stamp of approval from what I've seen. And he probably going to win another Oscar if the movie is written properly for him. I think he's going to do very well.
Definitely. What's y'all favorite boxing movie in general? Like
Ali.
I'm going to watch that again. The Will Smith one, right?
Ali with Will Smith. And I also like the Denzel Washington Hurricane. That shit was sick.
That was a classic. Yeah. What y'all?
There was some good. I don't know if you guys watched that Undisputed with Wesley Snipes when he was in prison.
Oh yeah, Ving Rhames. I seen that. I gotta watch that again though. That's hella funny.
I mean, it's
every weight class.
No, but there's a lot of. And then there was that other movie. Was it called the one that was based on a true story? I think it was Mark Wahlberg and.
The Fighter. Yeah.
The Fighter.
Yeah,
it was like the Ward body joint, right? Or was that just talking about Ward and his family and
Mickey Ward and his brother?
Yeah. That was a good one. And then there's that other. I think there was another movie. That movie Southpaw that was most recent.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
That was pretty good. You know?
Don't forget about $1 Million Baby. I'm just saying.
$1 Million Baby was a great one.
That was a tearjerker, bro.
Yo, that was dope, bro.
Hey, it's a good like low key like under one. Trey from Boys in the Hood, Cuba Gooding Jr. He had one in the '90s called Gladiator. It's like an old school. I think it was an HBO movie. It might not have been, but watch Gladiator with Cuba Gooding Jr. That was kind of tight back in the day. No, nobody said Rocky. No Rocky.
Man, this dude got elected to the Hall of Fame.
Rocky?
Man, get out of here.
You know what is Rocky? There's such classic movies that it's kind of like the obvious choice.
Yeah. But, what's your favorite Rocky then?
Yo,
I had to say, the one with Mr. T, Rocky 3.
Of a lane, okay, yeah.
Mine's the fourth one, bro. I like.
Who's in that one? You go.
That's the Ivan Drago one.
Oh, I Must Break You. Yeah, that was a good fucking movie too.
The only thing I ain't messing with the Rockies is just you literally knew what was gonna happen. Like it was real predictable.
Prophet, what's up, bro?
What's good, homie?
Yeah. It was predictable. But actually, the one with Tarver wasn't that bad. The one with Antonio Tarver wasn't bad.
I wasn't really feeling that one, man, because I think he was way just too old, trying to come back. Like, let's start making some hurt bums. It's like, come on, man, stop. Just stop.
I think the one with Tommy Morrison might have been the weakest. I don't know.
Creed went hard. That joint was.
I like Creed.
Yeah,
I
like Creed. I wasn't really feeling Creed 2 though.
Yeah, because it went to that predictable shit.
Yeah.
I didn't like 2 either. I liked the original Creed because my man from the Black Panther, he directed it and did his thing.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, Ryan Coogler. That second one, it was like.
See, and they had like Drago's son. He wasn't even really speaking. Like he was just like grunting and making noise. And you see what I'm saying? Like he didn't really have much of a. I don't know. Somebody
he couldn't act. That's what it was.
What y'all really sleeping on is the best boxing joint or Martin Fort Hearns.
Oh, that's my show anyway. That was hilarious. The Martin episode.
He was lumped up.
Wasn't he in the wall? He was like pasted in the wall. Like
my man had 50 knots on his head, bro.
You know which movie it just reminded me was kind of funny?
What?
It wasn't. I don't know if it was so much of a boxing movie, but it had some boxing with Eddie Murphy with was it I Spy or something like that?
I remember that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he had a little camera in his eye.
Yeah,
he was like,
the camera in his eye. He went. He was at the. He was like, oh, let's give him a little, like a little pre-show, and then he smacks the shit out of.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Let's just jump into the conversation at hand. Because we already got the conversation. So, everybody else has been here before, except for new meetings. So I just had to give you an answer.
We got one more new person on the. Oh no, Matt. We know.
Matt.
What's up, Matt?
Welcome to the
Just
family.
wanted to say what's up to everybody, man. I came.
Yo, what's up, Matt?
I saw this. Not much, man. How y'all doing?
Your weather good?
Brother.
What'd you say?
The weather good for you?
Oh man, everything good. Everything good.
Good.
It's late though. It's late though. It's like almost midnight, but I'm good though.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna jump through this. Ryan Garcia wants more money. Ryan Garcia feels he's being underutilized, or his brand is bigger than what Golden Boy and DAZN are trying to pony up. I need to know from y'all, what are your thoughts? What do you want to see from Ryan Garcia? What do you want to see from Golden Boy, from DAZN? Let me know that in the comment section. It's $200K. Is post-pandemic. You guys got to keep in mind, we going through the Rona and businesses have taken a hit. Is Ryan's brand to y'all worth more than $200K right now, current, all things considered?
I think so. I think Ryan Garcia is the future as far as Golden Boy is concerned if he sticks with that promotional company. I can see Canelo maybe having 2, maybe 3 years left. I don't know, because every time I see Canelo, it looked like his knee is messed up, like he having a hard time walking. As far as Ryan Garcia is concerned, I think that they really need to put him in there and test him with somebody, man. He keep talking all this stuff to Tank. I think if he goes down that avenue, he'll probably take his first loss, and he might not be the same fighter after that. But he's definitely worth more than $200,000. I mean, if your financier of Golden Boy or the CTO of Golden Boy can drive around a Ferrari, why can't Ryan? He's the boxer. He's the talent. He's in there, the one sweating every day. But that's my take.
I mean, I definitely have to agree with you on that one, real brother. I see it like this. You have DAZN, who is partnered with Golden Boy for Ryan, right? So if they're able to pay $3.3 million to Golovkin, fighting bums and things of that sort, and we know that DAZN has been taking a hit from the beginning with the amount of money they're just putting out with fighters, period. So to me, it's no different now. They still taking a hit just like every other business. But if they can put out those millions of dollars, $200,000, that shouldn't be a question. It should be way more than that for Ryan.
Yeah.
Period.
So I think he's worth more than $200K too. But I got a question. Does anybody know how much Shakur Stevenson made for his recent top ranked fight out of quarantine?
Let me pull my phone back
400,000.
and Google it.
He made 400,000.
Who said it? Man, my man Jose's on it. That's what it was.
Yep.
It was right.
Absolutely.
So definitely, if Shakur Stevenson, I know he's a champion and all.
No, he's not, because he moved up. he was at 126 and he was a champion, but he just moved to 30. So technically, he's not a champion in this new division, and he making more. So
he's not going back down either.
I know he at least had a belt, and Ryan.
No, I feel you.
Point, but at the same time, his following, his sales and all of that stuff is way lower than Ryan. So if he getting double of what Ryan is getting, something ain't right.
And see, and that's a great point. Shout out to Prophet because you have to look at it like this. Shakur, who he just fought, it was like some fake, like Miguel Cotto looking dude. So it's not like he fought a top name in the game either. You know what I'm saying? So how is Top Rank and ESPN able to come up with that type of money for a B-side opponent, an obvious B-side opponent, but then Ryan making noise and then, he can't get paid? Like, come on.
Yeah, and to kind of piggy off of a Prophet said, in one of Shakur Stevens' recent interviews, he said, "Oh, I would like to fight Ryan so I could take his fan base." So he knows that Ryan has that fan base. So if Shakur could make 400,000, same thing. We're during, after, post pandemic, no fan base, no fans in the arena, then I think Ryan at least deserves 500,000 or 600,000, because that people are gonna tune in to watch him fight. Mm-hmm. I think unfortunately, when they signed that contract, because remember that he just extended his contract with Golden Boy, he didn't. I guess he really didn't look at that minimum, because once you sign that contract for that minimum, Oscar is gonna take advantage of that. So,
but yo, Ego, this it's Matt here. Yo, I just wanted to jump in and just say, Ryan is just straight laying the blueprint for everybody else going forward, right? Because you're not going to make the same amount of money you thought you were going to make actually in the fight, because everybody's trying to pull back on the prices. What you're really going to make money on is that social media and that digital. And Ryan is laying a blueprint, in my opinion, my own personal opinion, he's laying a blueprint for everybody else going forward. Because he's making, he's what, 20, 21, 7 million followers. Like, nobody else is doing that. He's about to overtake next year. He's about to overtake Canelo. He's about to be the most popular boxer in boxing with no title. Like, I think he's doing something that everybody needs to be doing. Not that, look, I don't know if he's a good fighter. Like, I don't know. He's got to get tested. His chin's got to get tested at some point. But right now, he's doing something right in the digital space that nobody else is really doing. He's got more followers than Teo and Devin Haney combined. I guarantee that, probably.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. That's a strong point. I think it's a strong point that you said. Hold on, let me switch the view real quick. I think it's a strong point because at the end of the day, this is kind of where the game's at. Like, it doesn't matter in business what you personally feel. Like, let's say rap. There could be someone who's super lyrical and super dope that people want to hear, but if Tekashi's selling, or, I hate to use him as an example, but whoever the person is, if there's like Nicki Minaj or whoever, that's what the streets is buying. So you have to compensate that accordingly. Like, you would a record label take an artist, a music artist who's making noise and attracting that type of fanfare and put them on the back burner for another artist that's not doing that? I wouldn't think not. So why would boxing do that?
Big facts.
I feel like Brian Garcia, and I'm glad you brought it. See, I think a lot of people have an emotional response. Like, some people want to see Ryan lose or this and that. But if you get out your feelings and just listen to the arguments being said, I think we can all agree he's doing that aspect right. Can he beat Tank? I'm not saying all that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about none of, like, who he can beat, if he can beat Devin. But from the, like you said, Matt, from the business perspective, he's nailing that aspect of it. So that has to translate in some form or fashion, pandemic or not, to dollars and compensation. I mean, if that doesn't matter, then how do you gauge a fighter? How do you gauge their worth if you don't factor in resume, brand, these types of things? That it don't make sense to me.
And
oh, my bad. I was just going to say Oscar even knows it because like he's lost fights and he still had that popularity going forward. Like just throw the dude out there at a certain point. If he wants to make money and he doesn't want to chase titles, he just wants to make some money. Like y'all going to make money. He going to make money. Just do it.
Facts.
And another thing is, for example, like Ryan Garcia is down to fight Amner Mares, who was a former champ. And it seems to me like Golden Boy is the one making excuses because Mares is down for the fight. Ryan Garcia is down to fight. But, Eric Gomez and Oscar are the ones making excuses.
Yeah.
Now, another thing is I feel like the way DAZN is hurting right now because we've seen it in one of your recent live stream when, all these subscribers were canceling. Some of them are pissed off they couldn't get their money back. If I was DAZN, I'd be like, listen, we got to get this kid a fight because obviously he's gonna attract some type of crowd, and you know what? You already paid a bunch of people money that are not worth it. So why not just give him a little bit?
Yeah,
give him a little bit of money. Just give him $500,000. Say, hey, listen, let's see how many people he can get us back. Because you're gonna notice a difference once he's there.
Yeah, why wouldn't you like? I used to be a manager. I used to work at Lowe's. I was a manager, salary manager. I had other department managers underneath me and employees and stuff. And there's an old saying. It goes like, take care of your best people. That's basically what it is. There are certain people that were performers and they performed. They made me look good because on my off day, they would hold down the fort. You see what I'm saying? So if that person, because I used to write the schedule, if that person needed vacation time and they didn't abuse the system and they needed a vacation, I would always approve it because this is my department manager and, they're scratching my back. I scratch yours. You see what I'm saying? And that's kind of how it is with Ryan Garcia. Who does Golden Boy have outside of Canelo and Ryan that are generating that broad of an audience?
Don't say Triple G.
He ain't even with that. He with Eddie Hearn.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't to be honest, ever since Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer no longer work with Golden Boy, I don't even know when Golden Boy fights are sometimes. Like they'll be having little cards and stuff, and I'm like, damn, I didn't even know that was coming up.
I think what the big thing is the fact that he hasn't been tested yet, and if he loses, because we're in the world of everybody wants to be undefeated now. If he loses, they're afraid that his following just going to be like, oh man, well you know what, he already took an L. He's not the next Mayweather. Everybody wants to be the next Mayweather, and it's a good thing and it's a bad thing at the same time. Like Floyd did his thing while he was here, and he changed the way boxing is worldwide. He changed how it was looked at because he went undefeated. So everybody wants that. The moment you take an L, everybody's got something to say.
No, I feel that.
So I
was gonna say. Nah, go ahead.
I got two things to say on that. First, to what newz just said. Well, like Ego said earlier, when you do hot shit, like talk about musicians and rappers and shit. What was his name? Tekashi? He took a huge ass L. He came back and got even more followers.
Yeah, bruh.
So, like 30 million.
So you can take it when you got the clout as far as social media like Ryan got, you can take an L. Them teenage girls still gonna love him, and all them motherfuckers is still gonna love him, so he ain't really got to worry about that. But that was just my point on that. But secondly, I wanted to ask Ego in a situation like this where we can talk. Because I remember, I follow everything Tank, Upton Boxing. You already know it. So one time there was an interview when Ryan first started calling out Tank. And the people from Upton was like, yeah, he got something in his contract that he has to have a such and such big fight or something by the end of this year or whatever. So that's why he was calling out Tank and shit. So do you, with your inside sources, I know you might not have a lot of DAZN because they haters, but have you heard anything about Ryan Garcia having some type of stipulations in his contract that he needs to produce a big fight by the end of this year or something like that?
No, I haven't heard anything particularly about, he has to have a certain type of fight. I think it goes back to what Jose was saying more or less. Jose was talking about in the contract they have minimums. So this is the minimum that they have to pay you. But that's not the number he's shooting for. So to get the more money, he's going to have the better fights. So I think that's kind of why he's trying to push for the better fight, because Golden Boy is not going to get, unless you're fighting a top fight that they're ready for you to fight, you're probably not going to get more than your minimum, your 200,000 or whatever he agreed to. So I think that's why he's rushing, trying to get the big names, because he's trying to just look at it. Well, everybody be honest right here. You see the top big names with PBC. I don't really hear them complaining about money. I don't know about you guys. Charlo's house looked insane. Jamal Charlo's house looked crazy. He posting stuff. Jermel, Errol Spence said he about to buy some acres. Wilder looked like he's good and he got the Wilder Bronze Bomber mobile. I don't really see the same energy. Danny Garcia looks like he's enjoying life, helping his family and sisters. And this is really kind of with DAZN. That's what I'm seeing. More so than anybody.
It was just crazy to me that, because when he first started calling out Tank, it seemed like everybody was with him, even Oscar. Yeah, we're going to do this in December. It's the fight. We're going to happen. I guarantee you it's going to happen. Da-da-da-da-da. Then first the trainer came out and said, nah, he's not ready. And now everybody backtracking after this, or beginning or after this pandemic. So it just seems kind of weird to me all around. I guess it could be just clout chasing from the beginning, but who knows?
Yeah, that's what I think it kind of might be. The other thing is Ryan Garcia he didn't like some of the dealings and stuff, so he got his own attorney. And I think that created friction, because you start looking into the numbers and then somebody's there to help you look into the numbers. That could spell trouble if you're being robbed or if you're not getting what you feel you're worth and stuff like that. So, I think these are some of the issues. But if you look at it, Golden Boy, the two fighters you have to take care of, Canelo and Ryan Garcia, why would they both be angry currently with Golden Boy? Like, I don't know. I don't think that's a good sign.
I think it just has to do with bad management. You got Oscar, who's the head of Golden Boy. He's not consistent. Just got to be more professional, I guess. The way he threw. I felt that he threw Ryan under the bus, because he didn't. He was like, oh well, since Ryan don't want to fight, then we're gonna go with the future of Golden Boy. Mm-hmm. Or Virgil Ortiz. Which, listen, Virgil Ortiz is a beast, and I respect that kid a lot. Mm-hmm. But the way that Oscar went about it, I thought was very unprofessional. Because at the end of the day, you're still gonna have to promote his fights, because you guys have a contract. I mean, unless Oscar wants to release him, which I'm sure Ryan will be happy with that. So,
no, that's a great add-on point. I think it's just petty. He took the petty route. Bernard Hopkins did it too. Bernard Hopkins, after Ryan Garcia got mad or whatever, posted a picture of him and Oscar sitting next to Virgil Ortiz. I'll just pull it up, bro. I'll pull it up. They're sitting next to Virgil Ortiz, and they're like, oh, this kid is the future. They're doing that to put salt in the wound in Ryan Garcia. And, like, no disrespect to Virgil Ortiz. He's a good fighter. But Ryan's brand is already currently bigger. Not talking skill for skill, but his brand. So it seems like Golden Boy would probably take the high road to try to patch this out or patch this up with Ryan, as opposed to take some petty route, So here's the pic. This is the post, so you guys can see. Hold on.
And while he's showing that, I'm always thinking about some other shit. So I got 2 points. One, I feel like the DAZN Golden Boy contracts is like those crazy ass mortgage contracts they had right before the collapse. They variables and shit. So like, it was cool while it was cool, but now that it's fucked up, you about to get some bullshit. And then second, I think they taking notes from Mayweather and Tank and trying to start some turmoil with Ryan, the way Mayweather was with Tank and the whole Devin Haney situation. Mm-hmm. And maybe trying to flip that shit back around to be like, all right, we're back together, let's get it popping, just to create a buzz. I don't know. Could be.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, didn't the whole Mayweather and Tank thing happen? That happened before the whole Ryan Garcia. And, Oscar thing happen though. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They might be trying to follow suit. Like, all right, well, he's fucking over Tank, and that shit is going to create publicity. Maybe we could do it with Ryan. Who knows?
For me, I just think Ryan Garcia, he got that attorney, Guadalupe or whatever, that I think has worked with a lot of people that Al Heyman has worked with, so they don't like that. The other thing is, if you're undercutting somebody and then they're growing and bubbling and then they start looking into the numbers and it start looking suspect, then that's going to be a point of concern. It's like one of those movies where, like, let's say Denzel Washington is the detective and he starts prying and snooping too much and finding out that there was a police cover-up, and then people start coming after him trying to silence him. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to silence you because you're discovering too much. And I think kind of that's what's happening with Ryan Garcia. I think his brand is ballooning and he's starting to look at his numbers like, wait, hold on. You know, I'm bringing this level of attraction. You know, I'm behind Anthony Joshua and Canelo. Okay, cool. Even though I haven't fought for a title, I'm still bringing you attention. And every chance you get, you guys are throwing that in the audience's face saying, oh, Ryan got 7 million followers, but you're not paying like I got 7 million followers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Ego, I think that's a good point. Like, for me, it looks like to me that Ryan is disrupting kind of the boxing game. And I apologize, they're like blowing shit up out the window in Harlem and shit. But like, he's really just disrupting this whole game. Because before it was like the promoter's doing all the marketing and everything. Fighter shows up, puts his little personality there, 1-to-1. But now today, Ryan's sitting there and he's like, yo, I'm doing my own thing. I'm on ESPN without even Golden Boy. Got nothing to do with Golden Boy. I'm on ESPN. Like, this me. Like, he's doing something. Like, I keep going back. Like, Teofimo's not doing that. Devin Haney's not on SportsCenter. None of these dudes that are better than him, in my opinion, are not anywhere near what he's doing. Like, he's going to be made. He brings new fans to the game. He's doing things that nobody else is doing. That's all I got to say. Like, and I'm not even a fan of Ryan Garcia. I'm just saying, like, from a business perspective, he's doing things nobody else is doing. Yeah, and I got to give him big. Right. He's doing big things. And you know what? They should get behind him. If they don't get behind him, they're going to be left behind. Yeah. And that's Golden Boys. That's Golden Boys' problem.
And see, I think the biggest disconnect that people have is they start putting their personal like feelings towards what they think Ryan is or isn't into the equation, where they will in one ear out the other just tune out what you're saying. Everything you said was true. Ryan, from a digital, I think truth be told, I think there's other people that have been on my radar longer than Ryan. You know what I'm saying? Like, where I'm like, Jaron Boots Ennis, that's the one I'm watching for. You know, guys like that. But it's not about that. Ryan has found a way to connect, and he's using that angle that has to be compensated. That's it. You know, people are thinking that, oh, you're Ryan's savior if you're saying anything, or he'll beat this, or you feel he'll beat. That's none of that. It's, you got to pay like you weigh. I'm from the Bay. That's what we say. Pay like you weigh. He's attracting an audience for whatever reason. If it's teeny boppers, if it's women, if it's dogs, whatever he's doing, he's connecting, and more so than other equivalent fighters around his age group. You see what I'm saying? Because if it was that easy, then everyone would have SportsCenter clips and all that stuff, whatever he got going on.
And I feel like out of all people, Oscar De La Hoya should know better, because he had a similar, when he came off the Olympics and he was like the golden boy, he had the same type of crowd, you know, like
Facts.
He was like, oh, this pretty boy, whatever. And then people were attracted to just watching him fight, in terms of like, he had a huge, let's say, female fan base as well. And it's like, out of all people, Oscar should know better. So why not just pay up?
Personally, to me, it sounds like Oscar De La Hoya is hating on his own boxer. It's like, there's a reason why Canelo is unhappy at Golden Boy. There's a reason why Ryan Garcia is generating the buzz that he's doing. He's a unicorn in boxing. You know, he's almost like a pop singer, because he got millions and millions of followers. He's tuned into the digital age, and he mobbing. So he really has the hype right now. But Oscar's going to lose that guy because they ain't even paying him properly. And he just signed another bad contract in my eyes, kind of like what Terrence Crawford did with Bob Arum. He re-upped with a bad deal. That's just
y'all coming with some heat there.
Facts, man. Yo, facts.
Y'all coming with heat. See, this is why y'all should subscribe to the channel and watch these Zooms. We were talking real boxing and real opinions. Nobody's being disrespectful. We just talking about what the game is. I feel you 1,000%, real brother. Yes, I understand exactly what you're talking about.
It's hilarious to me that literally the same conversations we having about Ryan and Oscar is what they've been saying about Tank and Floyd for the last year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Floyd hating on Tank. He don't want him to shine. He don't want him to get bigger than him. This, that, and the third. It seems like it's replaying with new characters.
But you know what else is a funny comparison to me is the fact that you look at this whole situation. Oscar De La Hoya and everybody left Top Rank at the time because of certain things, how they were being moved. Floyd left, Cotto left, Julio Cesar Chavez, Mikey Garcia, and Oscar all left Top Rank for promoter beefs and issues. They didn't like the way they were being moved. Now, fast forward to the future, it's like history repeats itself. And I'm not saying Ryan can leave. I don't know his contract, but it looks like it's could be heading there because they don't seem to be on the same page, you know? And I think that's kind of what happens sometimes when people take advantage of a situation and then you put your foot down and say, hey, I won't accept that anymore. No one, you know, the person who was in charge or had the power, they're not going to like that. So I think that's why Golden Boy doesn't like Ryan Garcia, what he's doing, because he's making himself hot. So he's almost becoming defiant where he doesn't, put it this way, has Golden Boy set up any of the stuff he's going viral for? Or is that just Ryan Garcia's own doing?
That's just Ryan Garcia.
No, that's Ryan's.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So he's just doing it in-house, off the cuff, off the muscle, and it's working. Mm-hmm. In fact, Ryan Garcia, his little Cobra bag videos and all that, that has been more helpful to the growth of his brand than really what has Golden Boy specifically done for Ryan Garcia or DAZN? Like, can you think of a Ryan Garcia special or 24/7 or something that just really stood out?
Not at all.
No.
Like an actual program, like shoulder programming that they gave Ryan Garcia, that they set up, you know, that he otherwise wouldn't be privy to. But because if you look at PBC, you do see that. You see Errol Spence about to fight Mikey Garcia, and what? He's at the Dallas Cowboys game. You know that the Super Bowl promotions and stuff that Errol had, that it was obviously in connection with PBC and Fox. Clearly. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that Errol just, you know, talked to Jerry Jones and made that crack. Obviously, Fox and PBC, you know, got that done.
And it's crazy. Just think about it. Think how lit Ryan would have a 24/7 type situation where they were just following Ryan around and you know, just showing his life and shit. Imagine how lit Ryan would have that shit being as young as he is and, you know, doing all the shit he's doing. That joint would be lit. But DAZN is putting on, what's that comedian's name they had on for the joint that nobody cared about?
Tracy Morgan on there. Bye pay-per-view.
My pay-per-view.
That's what I'm saying. And see, that's what the game is getting to. And I can attest to this because I came up in the digital space. Everything that I got going on, I didn't jump off nobody's back. So I can attest to the power of the internet and the power of social media and stuff. People, they know me at the fights, and some people don't even read magazines and newspapers anymore. You know, that's why I said, like Digital Mob, we kind of created that. When you go to Boxing Talk, you get more genuine boxing talk on YouTube than you can find on some websites. Sometimes you go to websites and you look in the forums and stuff, and it just be all little arguments and stupid stuff. Like YouTube, we have some real life conversations on here about boxing.
And I would just say it's real time. Like you get it that day. Like as soon as the content comes out, you in there and you doing it.
The thing about this catch-22 too, as well, is, you know, back in the day when everybody was leaving Top Rank and the whole Don King fiasco and all that, Back then it was, hey, I'm just a fighter. I'm gonna let the manager, the promoter, all that handle everything. So there was an issue with that. Don King stealing money, all that good shit. So then they started taking their own power, with Floyd, same thing Ryan is doing now. And so the flip side of that is now you got turmoil with the manager and the fighter because the fighter is doing so much for himself now and he got so much power that the managers, promoters, whatever, don't know how to handle it the same. So it's like a catch-22. You know what I'm saying? If the manager's doing everything, then it might be they might fuck you. But then if the fighter's got more power, then you got to pay like you weigh and you got to bend to their will a little bit too. So it's kind of like a catch-22.
That is big facts. I think that's what the biggest thing is. It's like almost like a shift of power where you're seeing the dynamic of power change. Where before, back in like the 80s and 90s, it was the promoter set up this and had the relationship with the venues and this and that. And then the fight was made. Now you're seeing fighters try to make fights on Twitter. This is where the game's at right now in the digital space and YouTube. So that has to account for something. Like I've literally seen fights pretty much get made by the fighter. Like when Edeslandi Lara jumped on stage on Canelo. It's not the promoter that said, hey, and gave Edeslandi Lara a call. He took matters into his own hand, embarrassed Canelo, and it's like, what's up? And then Canelo was like, nah, I ain't no punk. I'm going to fight you. So you see more and more of that where the fighters are like Ryan Garcia and Tank, they were trying to spar each other in LA. They're trying to take matters in their own hands. Abner Mares and Ryan Garcia, they trying to scrap. They were trying to get the fight done themselves, using technology. So this creates a issue kind of for the promoter is like, what do I need you for then? You know what I'm saying? If you're not going to give me the fights I want and, I'm doing the promotion and getting the views.
Exactly.
Yes. I was just going to say, that's a good point. Like, what's the role of the promoter now? Like, you're just trying to find the venue, get the venue set up. Other than that, like, if you shift the marketing to it sounds like Luja out here. But if you shift the marketing to the fighter, what else is the promoter doing other than counting the money and setting up the venue? There's nothing else the promoter needs to do. Like it's the fighter who's marketing the entire event.
Right.
So, yeah. So think about Ryan's situation now. He's like, you want to pay me $200K for this fight? I can go on Twitter right now and make a fight worth $10 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm gonna fight for $200K for when I could Twitter war with Tank and get a fight worth 10. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah, and Ryan said himself he get more money outside of boxing. He said his endorsements, Gymshark and all this stuff, he get more money from that than he do from boxing. So that's another reason it's going to be hard to pigeonhole a person who's eating because they know what's out there. They're like, man, I got these endorsements, I got sponsors, I'm touching some money, so I can hold out. If you don't want to pay me right, I got sponsorship money. I was in this movie, I was in this TV show and they paid me. So that's what's happening. Versus, unfortunately, like the Don King type of era where it was all about the promoter fighter and the relationships were clear. A lot of fighters, they couldn't afford that. Like, I don't know his finances, but like, let's say Virgil Ortiz, is he in the position where he can have a standoff with his promoter and say, I'm not fighting 4th of July, or does he have to take anything that they give him when that call come in?
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember too, my thing is this, Ryan Garcia, I think it was 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, he had an opportunity before he was even making the money he is now to make more money than he had before if he had fought Rolly. Like, just like you were talking about, digital era. Oh, hey, you beefing with Tank, this and the third. Hey, I'll give you the fight if you fight this fighter first. And then, this next fight will be a multi-million fight. We'll put it in the contract. Like, it doesn't make no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Hey, Ego, we got Sir on the phone, man. He's Sir 47 just checked in. Let him get in here, man.
Yeah, he can jump. No, I added him. He in here.
What's up? What's up? In here, man.
What's up, sir?
What's up, fellas? What's good?
What's up, baby?
How you doing today?
I'm alive, so I'm well. Yourself?
Yeah, same. Happy Juneteenth. We working.
Yeah.
Juneteenth.
That's right.
Yeah, everybody. So, sir, what are your thoughts on the whole situation? We're basically talking about the new promoter-fighter dynamics with guys who are kind of taking it into their own hands, like a Ryan Garcia, to make themselves hot and make themselves pop, even though he hasn't fought the names that we need to see him fight?
Mm-hmm. Man, Ryan really after Floyd gave him a blueprint, so everybody's running with it. Yep. He the real the fighter is the real the fighter is really chief, man. He chief in his demonstration now. Ooh. He's got to play his cards right. Because if Ryan, Golden Boy going to probably try to shelf him because he already got the power, man. The reins is on. He a Mustang, chief. You can't saddle him now. Now you know what he worth. So now you got to either pay him what you weigh, or let him go, or you're just gonna have a problem because man, he already getting when he posted that thing on ESPN, he had 2 million views just off that alone, man. Shit, he cheap. He cheap in his demonstration. Now the fighters know they got power. That's why everybody love Al because Al letting them do you. Like here,
that's
I'm
right.
your advisor, you your own promoter. You do this, you push yourself. We gonna make sure you get paid. And Ryan seeing what those other guys making. And how they living, they like, man, shit, that's how I should be. I'm pulling this way. I'm really selling these Golden Boy tickets, man. Shit, you need to pay me. And he right.
Yeah, facts. And see, that's what I'm saying. It's not like the Don King eras is stuff where you could just necessarily get away with that. Fighters are getting smarter and they're being cognizant of the business. Like even look at Conor McGregor in the UFC. He started getting hip. Like, yo, Dana White UFC's eating. They making all this money. Where my money? So now you see he start working out little deals like the Proper 12 sponsorship. Because I need some of that cake. I need a slice of that pie. Sierra, what's up? Sierra's in the building too. What up?
Yeah, knowledge. Once you get knowledge of something, man, you can't be a slave no more. So now they know what they need to do to be successful. You can't hold them down, man. You can't saddle a Mustang. You just got to let them roll.
And you know what's funny? It's almost what's happening right now in boxing, the overthrowing of the existing establishment, the dynamic or whatever, is kind of a microcosm of what's happening in the world. You see a lot of these companies, ever since this pandemic and then the George Floyd, the looting and the riots, they're getting hit so hard and the power is shifting. Now you got companies like Netflix and HBO who ain't never said nothing. Somebody's phone needs to go on mute.
We put mine on mute.
I don't know who it is. Yeah, we good. But you have big companies like Netflix and HBO and these different companies. The whole time 4 or 5 years ago when Colin Kaepernick was saying Black Lives Matter and new media was doing what we were doing and saying, none of these companies said nothing. But now you're getting hit in the pocketbook. Taco Bell, Starbucks, everybody care. And that's because you're seeing the shift in the power. The consumer is the power. Same way in boxing, the fighter, you the product. You the one slaving away in the gym, working crazy hours and losing the weight. So you can brand yourself that way where you're not totally reliant and at the mercy of the promoter.
See, but this is why I think PBC's way of doing it is the future of boxing. Because if you think about it, fighters could now just be their own promoters. So you don't really need, like certain fighters don't need a promoter. Fine. In the beginning of your career, you may need a promoter maybe for the first few years just to get your name out there. But once your name is already out there and you're already popular, you don't need a promoter. That's why like you don't really need it. Ryan Garcia right now, with all his followings on social media, he should have never, if I were him, I would have never re-signed that contract. I'll let that contract expire, and then I'll just make my own promotion. And then you go with PBC, and you make your own money. Yep. Because that's what all the PBC fighters are doing, and they're making more money. You're cutting out the middleman. So you're just paying an extra fee. You already have to pay trainers. You already have to pay cutmans or whatever.
Partners. Yeah,
you cut out. If you think about it, for example, when Canelo was last fight, Golden Boy and DAZN did a horrible job promoting that fight.
Mm-hmm. Which one? The Kovalev?
The Kovalev.
Oh yeah. You're right.
They did a horrible job promoting that fight. So it was like, what the hell did they actually do for him?
DJ Khaled on the DAZN thing. Like, what? We the best. Like, why is he even here? What did DJ Khaled have to do with Kovalev Canelo? I'm just trying to understand.
That whole fight was fake.
That whole fight with bro, why is DJ? I don't have nothing against the guy, but why was he there? And Draymond Green and all this shit and Eddie Murphy and like what?
I think the Zone was using their power and their money at the time, since they had a little bit, to influence celebrities, like a celebrity influencer deal. Hey, we'll give you 10 grand in free tickets. Come on down. You know, just like Fat Dan was getting Amber Riley in the room to give him drinks and all that. We all know what's going on. It's a hoax, and they're gonna be out of business soon. PBC gonna pick them up about him, gonna cut everybody some bread. It's gonna be a wrap. I'm telling y'all, PBC.
They're gonna try and say Al got a monopoly. They're gonna be like,
it's too late.
He's a monopoly.
Man, okay, so here, since we're on the topic of Ryan, I want to bring this up to y'all. I can't wait. So Amanda Serrano was supposed to fight Katie Taylor, but now she's not fighting her. She said they offered her money like she was starving. So basically she felt low blowed. Like, and now the fight's off. I mean, I think the fighters are waking up and seeing like, hey, you know, why would I fight Katie Taylor for undisputed and you ain't gonna pay me right?
But that's what Eddie Hearn does. That's what he does. And going right into the other topic there maybe in the future, we're going to talk about it later, Mary, I guess. But same thing when Devin Haney was supposed to be negotiating the fight with Javier Fortuna. They lowballed him. So it's Eddie Hearn's way of
business.
Of, I don't know, avoiding fights or
business.
Check this out, y'all. So this is DAZN reporter, and he's talking about the Serrano Taylor, right? Chris Mannix says, my understanding is the package for Amanda Serrano would still be well over $200,000 to fight Katie Taylor. So how is Ryan Garcia this big brand and he's getting offered $200,000, but then Amanda Serrano is getting offered over $200,000? The DAZN pay scale just seems all over the place. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't even understand how that even works. So you think a co-feature, you're willing to pay it, and she didn't feel like it was enough money, but then Ryan can't get over 200,000. It just seemed like all over the place.
I think DAZN just really doesn't have any money. Like, I think at the end of the day, they're at this point where they just have no money. Like, it's just, I don't have enough money to pay these fighters, so I'm going to scrounge around, and for this event, I'm going to try to make the numbers work to support this event and going into the next event. That's why they're trying to get additional investment, if not be sold to somebody else. I just think at this point, they don't have the cash.
They gave Canelo the bag. Okay, that's why Canelo is Lambo Nello. And they got no more money to pay nobody else. Ego talked about this a couple years ago. He said DAZN was headed to financial ruin. And if you look at what's happening right now, everybody, that's a burning ship. Even customers can't get their $100 back.
Exactly. Like, I mean,
that's going on.
You just said, like, they had other people at the events, like, oh, we had all these celebrities at the events that they paid to come to these events. They were spending money on things that were not boxing related. If they had focused on, we're going to make the best fights possible, what Eddie Hearn was talking about, maybe they might have had some, but they were spending all this frivolous money on the bullshit. Like, they should not have been spending that money. They should have been focusing on the fighters and getting those fights. They shouldn't even got Golden Boy. They should have fucked Canelo. If they had never got Canelo, they would have probably been in a better position, because they could have fought. I mean, they could have paid for those good fights. That $37 million for Canelo, you could have probably put 2 or 3 fights that were better, or 2 or 3 fights that people might have wanted. Like, no, fuck Triple G, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, and see how you give Triple G 15. They said he got 15 million, dog, for Steve Rolls, but then Ryan is upset because he can't get more than 200K. That's just bad math. I don't know where everyone's from, but where I'm from, that's just bad math.
I'm gonna tell y'all something.
Hold on 1 second, real brother. I just want to say this, Ryan. The other thing, the element that people are forgetting about this new digital space of boxing is this. branding matters. Ryan Garcia can brand himself. Triple G don't really sell fights, like in terms of, you know, his speed. Oh, I had got all that. That's not selling the fight.
Abel's gone.
All this acrobats and speed and stuff. That's at least his generation is feeling that. You know what I'm saying? So that's helping put butts in seats and get sports center interested and stuff like that. Golovkin, you pretty much overpaid him because he don't have no crazy resume. He's fighting Steve Rolls, and he's not going to give you that Mayweather trash talk or 24/7 special. He's not going to give you the Ryan Garcia speed test and all these weird videos and stuff. He's not going to do that. He's not going to be a Broner. He's not going to be who you want him to be as a promoter, like a Conor McGregor. He's not. So it's like, how he get 15 mil for Steve Rolls, but Ryan Garcia can't fight a bum and get more than 200K? Like, come on, bro.
I was just going to
say the zone like a chick that spent her money on her hair and her weaves and her nails and can't pay her damn rent.
Bars. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's too funny. I was just going to say that it seems like to me the zone might be caught up in something that they can't get out of. Like, I don't know if literally Skipper just gave Eddie Hearn a blank check. I really believe that there's some things going on that we may not know anything about, like money laundering and some other things like that. They don't have any cash. They are not solvent. They are not in the black. They're in the red. If you got to go and ask for 524 financing to get more creditors to invest in your business, and you got a bad business model and you got a bad business plan, ain't no money. So I'm telling you, Al Heyman and the Hawks are circling, baby. They about to swoop them up.
You know they got that COVID stimulus check. You know they applied for that shit too. So they got that PPW or whatever.
You know what the worst part about it is? Like, if you really think about somebody, if I'm wrong, y'all all family, tell me I'm wrong. DAZN they're trying what HBO failed at. If you really think about it, HBO had Canelo, HBO had Golovkin, HBO had Andre. You picked up all of HBO's leftovers for the most part. I'm not saying they're not good fighters, but you took the people that, because HBO, they say we out of boxing. So you took all their leftovers. They got out of the business for a reason. HBO had been in the business of boxing 45 years. You took all their fighters that no longer had a home with a brand new startup platform that wasn't really known about in America and wasn't established like HBO. See, people go to HBO, they might like Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. And then as a result, they have HBO, so they flip through channels to see boxing's on. You can't accidentally stumble upon DAZN. You can't, I downloaded the app and put my password in and my credit card. That's not how it works. You could be flipping through the channels to watch PBC on Fox. You could be, if you have Game of Thrones and HBO packet, you could flip through channels and see that. So it was such a flawed kind of like concept, because if HBO, just listen to this, HBO felt that they weren't making enough strong profits with the same people. So what was you going to do? So they had Canelo and Golovkin. That was their last pay-per-view fight. And they still felt it wasn't enough worth their time. And then you took all those leftover people with a lesser known platform at a cheaper price point, non-pay-per-view, and you thought you was going to win with the same formula. It's weird.
And the thing is that they got, just like HBO, they have a bunch of biased commentators that, narrating you're watching the fight. You're like, what fight are these guys watching? Mm-hmm. So they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing HBO was doing. And I agree with you 100%. I don't see how they could possibly think that they're going to make this work.
You know what? It reminds me, here's an analogy for you guys. It reminds me of like relationships. Sometimes women will take the dude who's a dog and a slut and a cheater, and they want to fix him. You see what I'm saying? They want to be the one that makes him stop cheating and stop being this person he is. So you know all about this guy's past. You know he's a cheater. You know he's a dog. And then a girl will go out with that same guy knowing his past and try to fix him, or, he's going to be faithful to me. And then when he ends up cheating on your ass like he's been doing to every other girl, then you sit up here. What was that?
It was a bug. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. But anyway, that's my analogy. Is kind of like you're expecting to fix somebody that, you know.
I would say, like what I said before, I think I've said this before in the chat, like I think this is a good opportunity since the zone is failing, right? This is a good opportunity for HBO or with the HBO Now or HBO Max service to pick up boxing again for 10 cents on the dollar, right? So, hey, y'all not doing anything with this. Y'all are failing. We'll come in here for $100 million, buy all the boxing assets, put that into HBO Now or HBO Max, whatever they calling that shit. And now we're back in boxing and we have a full slate of boxing products in addition to Sopranos and Game of Thrones. So they can jump back in with a cheap acquisition. I see it. You know,
I would not want to see that. No.
But my thing, like, I feel like to get acquired and to do an acquisition, you have to be winning. Like,
true.
You're gonna want to like people. I've heard people say like, "Oh, what if Amazon?" Because we know Amazon got money. What if Amazon or Apple bought DAZN? But Amazon or Apple could just start their own sports app, clean slate. Why would you pick up something that's potentially broken?
True.
I mean, would you? Like, if I could get a new car, why would I get the used car? You see what I'm saying?
No, I mean, like, so I think this is a broader discussion. Like, are you gonna is pay-per-view the best model for boxing? Like, is it pay-per-view, or can you get away with a subscription boxing model at some point? Like, is there a subscription boxing model that works, or are you just gonna pay $60 a fight? Like, I think that's the discussion you need to have.
I think DAZN, one of their biggest thing is they don't have the content. Like, Netflix got content. They just put Juice. That's my movie, Tupac. You know, they put a bunch of content up. In a pandemic, what does DAZN got right now? They don't really have much to view for your viewing pleasure. So
they got replays. That's it.
Yeah, it would have to be like a HBO or something where they have supplemental content that'll get you by. You can't just rely on live stream. Like, if somebody else comes out and they're just relying on live streams, I don't know if that's going to work. You'd have to have content.
That's true. They don't have any content, and what they paying, like a bill a month?
That's
what a bill a month?
$100. Yep.
And then people already lost their jobs and stuff like that, man. Shit. Man, I ain't paying no bill a month.
You got to buy your food, or you got to pay DAZN. Ain't nobody doing this shit. And you can't even get your money back, bro. And you can't cancel the card. If I'm a DAZN customer, I'm calling my bank and saying these people are not trying to get my money. Cancel the card. Send me a new card.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm saying. Going back to HBO, like if HBO Now or HBO Max bought them, or that AT&T bought them and said, "Hey, now you guys can come over here and we'll support that, and we'll continue we'll work with your rights providers and all that other shit. Pay that money. We'll keep these fights going and we'll invest in it." I could totally see them doing that for a cheap price. Like I said, 10 cents on the dollar. I'm not saying $1 billion acquisition. I'm saying like $100 million for all these assets.
I don't see it, just because I don't see why somebody would touch something that looks this kind of crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it looks crazy. The fighters seem mad at their promoters and not getting money. So I feel like if DAZN end up going belly up, then HBO could just swoop in and say, "I need Canelo back." Boom, boom, boom. So why would you acquire, you know what I'm saying? Why would you make that acquisition when you could just wait and see if they fold, and then all them fighters are going to have homes anyway?
I think Al Hayden's going to get it.
Probably. I'll offer them $12 in a can of fish. That's all I give them.
Oh my God.
They cook, man. They done.
I just think the game is shifting, and the power and the structure is changing, and fighters, they see like there's money out here to be made. And especially when you see, like, I'm just being real, you see a lot of Al's guys and they look flashy, like the bigger stars, you know what I'm saying? They got nice cars and Lambo, Urus, and all types of stuff. So you get people like Ryan Garcia, he's like, man, I'm contributing too much to be held back and not be eaten like that.
And they getting a fighter and a promoter's check, man. They getting 2 checks, you know? they getting that back end money. They getting money as a promoter, and as a fighter. Come on, man. And they're going to get they're going to get that money for TV rights and stuff like that. They making bread.
You know what the worst part about DAZN is this pandemic, because all these fights have fell apart. They said Jojo Diaz and Tevin Farmer might not fight. They said that Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor is not going to fight. They said Canelo might not fight Sana. I mean, this is a lot of fights. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of fights. And post-pandemic, you doing pay cuts too? What fight can DAZN do that generates strong enough interest to get them out of this? That's my question. That's realistic for them to make.
But he's been
pretty bad at promoting shit anyways. You know what I mean? There's plenty of fights that were out there people didn't even fucking know about because he didn't promote them properly. You know what I mean? If it wasn't about like this person telling me or that person telling me, I would have never known about certain fights and shit. You know what I mean? Promotion, you need to promote your shit better. You know what I mean?
Thanks. Jose,
but another thing is, like, for example, if Canelo's planning on fighting September, let's say he usually fights that first week of September. Now, it's already mid-June. It's already past mid-June. So what, are you going to get an opponent short notice? You're not going to give somebody even 8 weeks to train? So, they haven't announced anything.
That's a good point.
That's a really,
that's a good point too. If there's already a fight planned and everything, why are you not doing everything possible to promote the fight and make sure that your fighter and everything is properly prepared? Make sure everybody is properly prepared for the fights. And I mean watchers and viewers too, boxing fans too. You know what I mean? Like, make sure everybody is properly prepared for this fight. Who knows? Maybe this is like one of my favorite fighters is fighting on one of the cards. So I want to make sure, does my work schedule fit around that? If not, maybe I'm not a person that calls off, but for this fight, I want to call off and make sure I can fucking watch it.
Yeah. Hey, Sierra, turn your volume down a little bit because it was distorting a little bit when you were speaking. Just turn it down a couple of notches. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just don't know what the comeback fight will be. Like to build it like Joshua Pulev. I mean, is that you gonna put that in the UK? Is that big? Is that a big fight? Is that gonna give you a bunch of subscribers? Dillian White, Povetkin. I mean, and then pay cuts on top of that. I just feel like it's going to be an uphill battle because you look at even ESPN, you look at the fights that they're coming back with. They're really light, really mild, but the benefit they have is they're attached to a network. ESPN, they got other content. You know what I'm saying? So they're not reliant only on boxing holding them up. You know what I mean?
It's like I don't think DAZN was really in it for boxing, man. It's like they were. My gut tell me they might have been money laundering or something, man, because they made too many dumbass moves, man. Too many dumb moves. It just don't make any sense.
Like, I'm a big soccer fan, and I got my little soccer. You can go ahead, Sierra.
I feel that about boxing. You know what I mean? Boxing has not been the same lately. There's, first off, not enough of it. I know, and I'm talking about before COVID even happened. You know what I mean? Like, at least fights that I want to see and everything. And I even enjoyed watching people coming up in the boxing world. You know what I mean? Because it's like the pre-fights and this and that is I like watching those too because those are people that are coming up in the boxing world. But the way boxing has been, it's all about money, 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 money. So where is the real boxing? It's not as enjoyable to me nowadays as it used to be. I used to look forward to every Saturday for boxing night. It's not that anymore. Where's that at? What happened to the good fights and shit? What happened to every Saturday? There's fights and they're good fights that I want to see.
My honest opinion, I think the thing is there's too many fights. It's almost like, I know that sounds crazy to have too many fights, but that's what it is, because you look at like even like some of the ESPN cards. Some of those guys aren't main eventers. They haven't been promoted to the point where they're kind of main event. Nothing against them, but they're not really main events. Back in the day when I used to watch boxing, if you were on a main event, it's because you were a main eventer. You were Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, somebody, Floyd, Roy. That's how you got on main event. But now it's like people are just filling up dates. They're like, oh, we need this guy. We need John Doe, and we have a date. So especially after this pandemic. So it's like that's part of the problem, because you end up losing people in translation when they're looking at a fight and they know this guy's not a main event. Like, these are guys, some of the guys, even on Top Ranks ESPN, some of the guys that are main eventing are developmental fighters still on their journey. They're not the Canelos and the Mayweathers, Pacquiao, people who have been in it, veterans. They're still developing their style. And you're putting them as a main event. So
yeah, I agree with you, Ego. I feel like ESPN, with all the cards that they have been putting, instead of, let's say, you know what, let's put one card a week, but let's stack it. Let's put some good talent once a week, and let's do that, let's say, or once every other week. But what they're doing is they're putting all these Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're putting on a card every Tuesday and Thursday, and then sometimes they're also doing it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and it's like you're getting a bunch of low-level fighters that you don't really, it's not like they're upcoming. Let's say maybe there's one or two that are like, okay, these guys were in the Olympics. These are guys that, to look forward to. But most of these guys are not people that you really care for. So instead of, let's saying, you know what, let's do it once a week, but let's make it really good, they're focusing on the quantity instead of the quality of the events.
Let's play devil's advocate off of that. How much you think that might be because of the fighters wanting too much these days? That they got to rely on some of these smaller guys who will get in there and fight whenever, for whatever, as opposed to a big fighter saying, nah, I'm not going to take that bullshit. I'll wait a couple more months, fight again, and get this bag or whatever. So
I mean, I agree with that, because a lot of these fighters that are fighting right now on ESPN, they otherwise wouldn't get the chance to be on ESPN and to get that exposure. And I do agree with you that it maybe has to do with the fact that the fighters that are known, are not gonna, get on these cards for less money than what they're used to usually making. But like I said, you could still get these fighters to do it once a week and just get, better quality instead of, just average.
Big fact.
I think Top Rank had I think they bought those dates and had to take care of them when they'd have been really at a loss. I guess that they can get some type of TV revenue, because they can't get the gate anymore, so they just had to do it just to get some type of money in. So that's probably just to pay a few bills.
Like Ego, I think on the broader point, I mean, I remember back in the day growing up with boxing, when you think about the cards they used to have back in the day, you would have the heavyweight championship, and then below that you would have maybe welterweight championship bout, and then you would have like the entire card would be pretty stacked. But nowadays it's like, all right, I'm gonna go in for the final bout or the headliner. The rest of this card is trash. Now I think in your general point about having like there's too many boxing matches, I think having a really stacked card would be more appealing, especially now that we're coming out of this where there's not many crowds, or you want to actually get some buzzing around an event, like a real event, have multiple champions on an event versus having just one champion and a bunch of trash cards. I think that's like something that people should really think about.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I was talking to a real brother the other day in the chat about it. I think that's, that was what we as fans would want to see, and we would flock to it. But, being in the pandemic and not being able to get gates and people in the seats, I don't know if all these people could afford stacking a card like that and being able to play all these fighters. I think the real answer, and it might be hard for like DAZN or, I don't know, Top Rank might be able to do it, but like for PBC, if they did like a dope-ass prospect card, with all the prospects that people are looking for, they're not going to ask for no whole ass of money, but they still going to break people because people want to see Vordreau Tees. I know he's on whatever, but, you know, Boots and this, all them guys that got different fans from all these different places. You put these prospects on the card, pay them what they was trying to pay Ryan Garcia, and everybody wins.
My only rebuttal, I got two things. One is I agree the pandemic has hurt people, but some of these cards were existing before the pandemic. You see what I'm saying? Like, I remember, I think it was Top Rank had Vaughtstick versus some Gumbo in Philly. It was just super weird. I'm like, I don't even know who was. Ngumbo or, you know, something like that. So we've seen some of the, especially like Eddie Hearn, some of them UK cards, Cash Ali and David Price. Like, I mean,
he biting people and shit.
Yeah, it's like biting people's stomach. It's just weird, you know, like stuff that wasn't really main event worthy. So that's part of it. But I think the other issue is, one, the fighters can promote themselves and not just wait for the promoter to do it, but also the promoter, they got to make some of these guys appealing. So when we see them, we can recognize who they are. That's part of it too. Is like you see the promoters kind of just focus in on the guys that they already are known, unless they have some type of X factor or keep winning. Like, for example, and I'm not calling anybody out, I'm just being real. Terrence Crawford, he kind of made himself hot with the Bradis Prescott performance.
Correct.
I didn't see no major push from ESPN or HBO at the time and Top Rank to push Terrence Crawford. He kept winning and kept looking good. So people were just like, oh, okay, Terrence Crawford's nice. You see what I'm saying? And then they start paying attention and giving him more opportunities. That's kind of how it goes. So they got to do a better job.
I feel that. And being if you're a boxer and whatnot, yes, you have your people that's supposed to promote you and stuff. But exactly, why are you not trying to promote yourself too? Do we not have countless amounts of social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all this other stuff? So on the sideline or even on main things, shouldn't you try to like promote yourself too? You know what I mean? Like put it out there, just, you know, like, hey, I'm going to be fighting this day on this month. Like, come watch my fight, whatever. So yes, they should be doing something for themselves too, because being a person of it's like, this is what I choose to do as a career. I have this person that's supposed to promote me, but I would want to promote myself too.
Definitely.
But I mean, I feel you, but like that's a skill. Like, I mean, people think like promoting yourself is easy. Like, there's a lot of dudes out there. Like, look at Terrence Crawford, right? Like, I think a lot of Terrence's problems are just because he doesn't see that he can really do that himself. He's not out there promoting his own stuff. We're out there trying to promote Terrence, but Terrence is just in Omaha chilling. Like, I mean, like in a lot of cases, it's you can't. There's not a lot of people that could do that. Like Errol Spence is not really even able to do that. Like, a lot of these dudes aren't really out there doing it. Ryan is actually one in a, I don't know, Ego, you know more than I do, but in this aspect, but Ryan is doing something that a lot of these other dudes, like Gervonta does it, but like he does it in a different way, right? He's more infamous, right? Like he gets that infamy going, right? Like I think Adrian Broner, like he knows what he's doing. Like that's it, it's like Floyd obviously set the blueprint for everybody else, but like at the end of the day, this is a skill that not everybody has.
But I'm paying you 25% of my clip. Man, shit, you need to burn up a building with my name on it or some shit. You need to promote me.
Hey, you a fool, bro. Yeah, I feel you. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just changing. The game is changing. You know what I'm saying? Something got to be. But, like, it could also be, like, being attached to a better card is promotion. This man fell asleep. The real brother fell asleep. No, but I'm saying being attached to a bigger card is also good promotion. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's an exciting fight, like I remember Wilder fought Fury, right? then they had Luis Ortiz on it. So that's good. That's a good opportunity. You're fighting Fury. Wilder Fury 1 was a real good fight, you know? So Luis Ortiz on the undercard. That's what you also have to do. Sometimes, like, I don't see the whole vision. Like, I feel like Terrence Crawford and Shakur Stevenson should kind of be like a package deal, damn near. Have them on the same card, even before the pandemic. I don't know about now. That might be a little bit harder now, but before the pandemic, they should every time. Just remember they were doing that HBO with Chocolatito and Triple G. Yep. They put them on every card together, you know? So you have to find like ways like that.
Like if you remember back in the day, like Hagler, you'd have a card where Sugar Ray headline a card, and then you might have Hagler or Hearns on the undercard, right? Like there were cards like that where you had a stacked card where you would see the up and coming folks, and then the guy that you really came there and paid the money for.
Yeah,
and those were things that you don't have nowadays. Like you said, like you have cards where it's like, you know, Russian dude versus Russian dude. You got like a Mexican dude versus Mexican dude, and then you got the headliner, right? Like that's just kind of the 3-piece card you get, and it doesn't really cut it, especially now when everybody's scraping like 2 dimes together. Like you need something really to bring them followers.
It's going to be real rough with this pandemic, because if they doing price cut, like you got to look at it. If DAZN, in my opinion, their promotion wasn't great before the pandemic, if you're doing budget cuts and you're doing pay cuts, if the quality of fight and the promotion wasn't great beforehand, what's it going to be now when you're doing budget and pay cuts? So if you had trouble making fights before, like Andy Ruiz, Dillian White, you had trouble making these fights before, then you really, in my opinion, going to have trouble making them now.
It's about to be ass. Simple as that.
Yeah.
The Top Rank don't really.
What'd you say?
Bob Arum don't really promote his fighters. That's why Floyd left, man. You know, he don't really promote them. He like a gorilla pimp, man. He starved his hoes out. You know.
Hey, you wild.
He for real, man. He don't promote them or nothing. He just have them out there on the track, man. You know, and the ones that go out and do the stuff they own, they make the money. You know, but he don't, man. He needs to promote the hell out of Terrence and Shakur, man. Them dudes are real fighters. Them they class A. They the fighters watch. They the fighters that fighters watch. You know. Yeah. So you got to promote them, man.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But I think let's talk about this real quick. And I have one other thing. I'm gonna let everybody out of here, because Crawford, I feel like he's in between a rock and a hard spot, a rock and a hard place. We know he's dope, he's raw, he's skilled, he's good, but Top Rank don't really have no one to feed him unless they work with Al Heyman. Like, I can't think of no big fights that Terrence Crawford could really have that is popping. Like the Kell Brook fight, that's not really popping to me. Like, I will watch it, but it's not.
I'd say this. So with that fight right there, I really think so. Terrence Crawford, he's great. He's a great fighter. 135, 140. But who has he really fought at 147?
I keep saying the same shit.
He's not fought nobody at 147. And Kell Brook is a top quality fighter. Let's think about this here. Yeah. He gave Errol, when he fought Errol Spence, that was a good fight.
Yeah.
He did. Let's think about when he fought Sean Porter. When he fought Sean Porter, he dominated that fight. Like, hands down dominated. If Terrence is not going to fight anybody, or is going to have issues with going over, and Bob Arum's going to have issues working with PBC and things like that, I think that Kell Brook fight is the next best thing that we could actually see, and they could actually test him. And that's the fight that I would actually look forward to seeing if he is as good as everybody thinks that he is in this weight division.
I would.
In the last fight, we seen this boy I don't care what nobody says. He got dropped. He got robbed.
He went down. Yeah, he went down in the last fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
The Kell Brook, but I guess the point I'm making, I would watch the Kell Brook fight because it's a barometer to Errol. You see what I'm saying? How Errol fought Kell versus how Crawford would handle that situation, even though Kell's at a different spot in his career right now. But what I'm saying is, it's not a blockbuster fight. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a good fight for maybe hardcore boxing fans because they know both, but it's not gonna be like Mikey and Errol Spence and 50,000 people at AT&T Stadium, or Sean Porter and Errol at the Staples and 16 plus go. That's what I'm kind of meaning. So it's going to be hard because that's how you get your revenue. Like Teofimo versus Lomachenko, that's ready. That's a perfect fight. Yeah. If they can execute that, then I think that's a great fight. But a lot of these other fights is going to be, you're going to continue to see kind of gross mismatches, you know, especially if certain people don't have a deep bench in the stable with certain promoters to spoil their good guys. Like Vodstick just fought Beterbiev and got whooped and then retired. So Top Rank down a light heavyweight. Zordo Ramirez, I don't know where he's even been with Top Rank, you know, so stuff like that. So I feel like there's real light matchmaking right now, especially post-pandemic, no crowd and all that.
Right. So what I've been wanting to say, like, if you're a boxer and you don't feel like you're being promoted as you should, you're on Twitter and Instagram and everything else, tweeting this and tweeting that, right? It's as simple as that to promote yourself. You know what I mean? You don't have to like know all the extents to it. It's as simple as a tweet or an Instagram or whatever, because they're posting about other shit anyways, right? So if you have a fight and you don't feel like you're being promoted enough or whatever, promote yourself. Twitter yourself, Instagram yourself, Facebook yourself. It's seriously that fucking easy.
I agree with you, Sierra, but if I'm paying you 25% of my clip, you got to do something.
I agree with that. Oh no, you better promote me and shit. Well, and then that's gonna be behind closed doors. Like if I feel the need that I have to promote and put myself out there, then believe I'm gonna have a fucking closed discussion behind closed doors. You know what I mean? Because I'm paying you all this money, and if I don't feel like I'm being promoted properly, I'm going to have a discussion with you professionally and behind closed doors, but I'm also going to not take that slack and not let there be any in-betweens and fill in the gaps that are not being filled in. You know what I mean? Like, if I feel like there's a gap being a gap, I'm going to fill it in myself and then come to you, and hopefully, like, because I filled that gap in myself, you're going to fill it in even more because I'm paying you.
All right. Now, I got one last question. Errol Spence, off of the accident, how's he return? Did he return stronger? Do you have reservations? Are you scared for him?
Let me get it first. Since I'm trying to take a nap.
Hold on. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to do it like this. I'm gonna go from left to right. So everybody, and you can just, if you don't have an opinion on it, just say pass. But we got to keep it. Response is not too long because I'm about to wrap this up. Right. Real brother. Well, I'll call you out. Real brother, Errol Spence.
I think Errol Spence is going to come back stronger and better than ever. Okay. Coupled with the fact that not only did he only lose some teeth, but he was able to walk away from that with his life. With everything that happened to him, it gave him a different perspective. I think he understands now what he almost gave away in that night of fun. Also, with COVID-19 being so prevalent right now, all he's been doing is training. He's on weight now, and he said he's never going to get to that point to where he's walking around at 190, 200 pounds again. He's just going to stay on weight all the time. So it's actually brought him to a more serious point in his boxing career. And I think he's going to come back. He doesn't need a tune-up. I don't think he needs a tune-up. He might be able to do something with Garcia here that nobody's ever done. Might knock him out. But we'll see.
Yeah. Matt, any thoughts? Errol Spence return fight?
Yeah, I mean, I would just echo everything Real Brother said. Like, I think, everything he said after the fact is like, yo, I realized I was on a path that was going to lead to failure. I've corrected that. I'm going out there and I'm going to be stronger than ever. Like, I believe him. Like, I just think this is the time where you're going to see the real Errol Spence. And while, I'm a big Bud fan, I think the tide has turned to the point where it's a 50-50 fight where I thought it was a 60-40 fight before. So I really think Errol is on the path to greatness. You know, I don't, you know, he's only got a couple of years left because there's a lot of young lions like Jerron Ennis. There's a lot of young lions out there. I'm gonna say, like, he's got to start making his moves because the young lions are coming out and they coming strong. So,
facts. Sierra, Errol Spence return.
I agree with Real Brother. We have all this COVID time, so whether it's Errol or not, you've had plenty of time to train, get your body together, get your mindset together, focus on when COVID ends, when am I going to come out of it? I have all this time to myself, so then this should be self-meditation, self-preparation, and everything so when it's time to fucking throw me out in the lion's den, I'm gonna come out the top lion. You know what I mean? And I like Spence anyways. Like, he's an amazing fighter and whatnot, but exactly, like, that's any fighter. Any fighter going through, you know, it's COVID. So you should be preparing yourself for when the world reopens up. Period.
All right. New meaning. New meaning. Errol Spence.
Okay. Yeah, so look, man.
I know you were waiting to hear this.
Oh, yeah. Errol survived this car accident. He walked away with no broken bones, just a few chipped teeth. I don't know if you saw the car accident, but man, listen, it was a blessing from God that he actually survived this joint. And I can tell that he realizes it, man. You know, he realizes that he almost was the provider for his family was almost gone. And when he had that mental awakening, you had that mental awakening and you realize how important you are to your family. You make a mental choice and a choice to be and continue to be that provider. So do I think he's going to come back stronger than ever? Absolutely. I think he's going to stop Danny.
Yeah,
legit.
Man, he's going to stop him?
Stop Danny.
He's going to stop.
I think he's going to be the first man to stop Danny. Because people don't realize
Danny
got
a chin
no body.
too.
Danny ain't got a chin. Danny ain't got no body, bro. He ain't got nobody.
Damn, that's going to be crazy if that happened. All right, sir.
If that happens, I think it's going to be a double-edged sword because people are going to be like, damn.
They're going to avoid it.
This motherfucker done stopped Danny. Nah, hold on. I got to think. I need more money for this fight. I need more money to fight this man. That's what's going to happen.
All right. Sir,
mark my words.
Errol, return to the sport.
I think Errol's going to be all right, man. If his will is strong as his word, man, he survived. What he survived, man, you got to have God on your side. So if he roll with that, if he feel that he survived that accident, he got some armor on him, shit, man, if that accident didn't stop him, shit, Danny ain't going to stop him. So, yeah, I think that car accident that shit was horrible. So if that didn't stop him, Danny ain't going to stop him. I don't think he going full speed ahead. Man.
Okay. Prophet. Errol Spence, return.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to be back. And the reason I believe it is because Errol is different. You know, he flashy a little bit. He like to talk his stuff a little bit. But at the same time, he humbled. You don't hear no turmoil with him and Al or his team or anybody like that. So if they like, hey, this accident wasn't all that. You came back. You strong. You looking good. I see you in here working out this, that, and the third. And they believe he don't need no tune-up. No, it's no backstabbing in this camp. So, I mean, why wouldn't we believe him? You know what I'm saying?
Fact. Jose de Jesus, take us out. Errol.
I mean, I think that listen, if his trainer, his people are saying he's ready, I believe that he's ready. The only thing is that a lot of people, listen, everybody who knows that follows boxing knows that Danny Garcia can crack. And, you know, when Danny sits on those punches, man, he can hurt Errol, but we don't know yet. I feel that it depends the style of fight that Errol fights. If Errol decides to fight like he fought Mikey Garcia, I think it's a walk in the park.
Oh yeah,
I think it's a walk in the park.
It's a wrap, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he decides to fight like he fought Mikey Garcia, I think it's an easy fight for him to win. Now, if he decides to
Deshaun
grow
Porter,
like he did with Sean Porter, you know, Danny can crack and he sits on those punches and you know, but like I said, I feel that if Errol Spence feels that he's good and his team says that he's ready, then I believe it.
Facts. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining the call. I know it's impromptu, but I appreciate y'all for holding it down and hanging out. Anyone have any closing statements that they got to add?
I just want to say, everybody be safe, be blessed, take care of your spirit, keep them vultures away from yourselves, man, and just stay prayed up. Be safe out there.
Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
Appreciate y'all for your time. The video will be up shortly.
Salute my G's. I'm going live tonight.
Shout out to the Army.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys soon. We'll schedule it and be super.
Come through the live stream, Ego.
Yeah, thanks, Ego.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. All right, yo.
Tank pound number one.
Peace.
Later.